a very important concept really in any lesson planning is specifying the goals and the objectives of the lesson. And so we always specify domain-specific objectives, but we also specify the English language proficiency objectives. And we always go to the state standards to look at the domain-specific standards, the English language proficiency standards. The English language proficiency standards tend to be more general, so we really look at the content we're working with to try to figure out what that content really, how we can use that content best to develop proficiency. So for example, if you're working in science and the lesson has a lot of compare contrast goals or activities, we would have the students work with compare and contrast language, right? Or maybe write an essay that deals with compare and contrast. So we tend to build on the content of the lesson in terms of figuring out what our language proficiency standards are. When we do interactive reading, for example, we build in comprehension strategy instruction in that. And it depends on the passage as to the kinds of comprehension strategies we build in. So we'll might have the students read a paragraph and then generate their own questions based on the paragraph. But it depends on the paragraph as to what the strategy is. Another paragraph that might be good for summarizing because it has details in it. We might ask students to read the paragraph and, or after the interactive reading, answer questions that ask students to summarize. Or we ask, or we deal with making inferences. So a particular passage might be good at asking, at sort of requiring inference making. So we'd ask questions related to that. So again, we really look at the content of the lesson in terms of figuring out what kinds of strategies to teach. And it's not just strategies. So for example, we do a lot of work with morphology in science and trying to show students that certain affixes are related to certain parts of speech. And we use the words that we use to demonstrate this always are science words that come from the lesson, right? And show them how you can change one word to another form by using different affixes, right? Suffixes in this case.